Hi, this is Les-Levine, the self-proclaimed voice of truth and reason in Ohio sports. The Super Bowl, the NFL Draft, Rookie Camp, non-mandatory minicamp, then the OTAs. The NFL continues to make their game a 12-month-a-year product. And finally, we get to what we've been waiting for quite some time since the Browns hired Freddie-Kitchens as their coach. It's training camp. It's arrived, and it's tomorrow. I don't remember excitement like this since Bernie Kosar led the team in 1986, his second year, similar to Baker-Mayfield. What I am concerned about with the fans and players alike, hopefully they're not expecting too much. Not necessarily in the season, where I do think 10-6 is not out of the question, but the disappointment that might set in if they don't get to the Super Bowl. I think they have a chance to win the division and hopefully get a bye playoff week. It's too tough to win 3 playoff games in a row on the road to get to the Super Bowl. But it's going to be fun watching them try to do it. Jeff-Schudel is here to talk about that and more. More Sports and Les-Levine is on the air. From the worldwide headquarters of More Sports and Les-Levine, it's a Tuesday night. Good evening, everyone. Welcome once again to More Sports and Les-Levine into our 24th consecutive year, and of course seen exclusively on cleveland.com. Jeff-Schudel is here. That means we're going to talk about everything, including his Boston Red Sox, who will probably not make the postseason this year. Are you resigned to that fact?
I think I am, because they're not going to catch the Yankees.
No.
And I think they'll catch the Rays. They'll be finished second in that division, but then I think the wild cards are going to be
either Cleveland or Minnesota and maybe the A's.
Yeah, right. So they just the Red Sox got off to a horrible start. They were 3-9, and they never recovered from that.
216-575-0403. You can email us during the show at reallesslevine@gmail.com. Lots to talk about. Players out in Berea, they sign in tomorrow, right?
Yes, right, and then the first practice is Thursday.
Right.
So, and I was there today. I went to the Odell Beckham camp in Strongsville last, and then I wrote my story at the Browns facility because I was coming here.
Right.
And things are bustling there now. So it's going to be a very exciting time. There'll be a lot of national media,
right.
And especially those first few days of training camp.
I'm sensing some of them are coming off the hype a little bit, and now it's a fashionable thing not to pick the Browns.
Yeah, I see that trend coming too. And there's still, Vegas, I think, has them favored to win the division. Now, that means really that most of the betting is on the Browns.
Right, doesn't mean they rate them better.
Right. That's what people don't seem to understand, how that works out there.
Right.
Not that I'm a gambler, but that is how Vegas sets odds. They just want
They want the money to
even
even off.
Right.
That's it.
And we'll see. I mean, I think the team is definitely better than it was 1 year ago, but I still think there are questions to be resolved.
What's the biggest question?
Well, who's going to start at right guard? Is Austin Corbett going to win that job, the second-year player?
Or did they take it away from him?
Yes, and Greg Robinson at left tackle.
Right.
I want to see what he's going to do. He definitely was an improvement over Desmond Harrison, who took over.
He's got his own problems now.
Yeah, he definitely has his own problems. And but Greg Robinson, now we'll see, because he was a 2014, the second player drafted. The Rams, back when they were in St. Louis,
right,
drafted him second overall. And until those last 8 games last season, he really didn't find himself. So I think he has to really prove himself.
Did he look?
I don't know. That's a good one. But, we'll see. I mean, he had 10 holding penalties in those last 8 games. And
well, at least he was smart enough not to let Baker-Mayfield take the brunt of that.
Yeah, that's a lot better than getting him sacked or hurt.
Right.
So we'll see. I have those questions. And
you have a question about the coach?
Well, I wrote a column for today, Les, saying that he'll get no honeymoon, and it's because of those expectations you mentioned early.
Yeah.
I mean, you think about this. every other coach who's taken over, he took over after a failed, miserable season ahead of him, right? I mean, you think about Butch taking over from Chris Palmer,
Right.
and then when Romeo Crennel took over from Butch, the Browns were 4-12. They were 4-12 when Eric Mangini took over, and you could go on and on the list. I mean, they were 3-13 the year before Hugh took over.
But he inherits what should be a pretty good team here.
Right. He doesn't. That's right, and that's part of why the honeymoon there won't be no. I think maybe you could say Marty Schottenheimer took a pretty good team when Kozar, as you said, was a rookie in 1985. But you could argue that...
Well, Kozar wasn't supposed to play. Gary Danielson did.
Right. So you could argue, I think, that talent-wise, this is probably the best the Browns have been all the way back to since Blanton Collier took over from Paul Brown in 1963.
The best talent on a team for the first-year coach.
Right.
I would agree with that. 216-575-0403 is the number to call. We've got the voicemail of Truth and Reason. Ron from Fremont checked in. What do you have to say, Ron?
Hi, Les. This is Ron Byer. Hey, Les, I want to give my opinion on the Duke Johnson issue. I was very vocal in my work situation. I put a lot of thought in what I was going to say before I opened my mouth. I always showed up for work and did my job. So people respected that and listened. So if Duke Johnson shows up for training camp and does his job, he has all the right in the world to speak his mind as long as he thinks first before he talks. Fans, teammates, Browns management, life is not all roses and sunshine.
All right, Ron, thank you very much. I agree partially with that, but pro football is totally I don't know what Ron did for a living or does for a living, but pro football is not the same thing.
Right. Obviously I don't know what Ron does either. But we were talking about this off air, Les. I don't see how the Browns can trade Duke Johnson now. Unless somebody offers him a first-round pick, then you're going to say sure. But that's not going to happen. And you said it perfectly. He's a sprained ankle away from being a starting running back. And until Kareem Hunt comes back from that suspension halfway through the season, you can't maybe you could trade him a week or so before Kareem Hunt comes back. 8
weeks is way too much.
Right, but you certainly can't trade him and say, well, I hope nothing happens the first half of the season. And plus, you know what? Here's another thought about this. If some running back gets hurt in training and another team's running back gets hurt,
the price of poker goes up.
Right, exactly right. Yeah. His value goes up. Because what are you going to get for him right now? A 4th-round pick, maybe?
Well, to me, that's not worth it.
And it's not worth it, but I don't think you're going to get much more than that.
Well, so what is Drew-Rosenhaus apparently was here today, according to Mary Kay Cabot and some other reports. He's got a signed contract already. The money's due to him, and he'll get it. What could Drew-Rosenhaus be doing here? What's he looking for?
Well, he has a powerful agent, and so he has respect, I think, among the general managers because of his reputation, and he's not trying to squeeze more money from the Browns. We know
that's
that.
a done deal.
Right. Unless he's trying to convince John-Dorsey, look, he's not going to be happy here. You might as well get rid of him while you can. Trade my client while you can.
Or how about this? How about, John, I suggest you take him, otherwise it's the last Drew-Rosenhaus client you'll see here in Cleveland. They've been known to do that.
Yeah. He could. That would be a good card to play.
All right.
And then, so he'd be calling, and then John-Dorsey would say, well, then I guess we'll go somewhere else.
Yeah.
But
have a nice life, Drew. Thank you for
anyway,
stopping.
you know what?
Thanks for playing the game.
Yeah, you could. If they offer Drew Rosenhaus client a lot of money in free agency,
he'd give that up.
Yeah, he'd say, well, okay, I'll make this one exception.
I changed my mind.
Yeah.
216-575-0403. Jeff Schudel is here. He covers every sport in Cleveland and some that aren't in Cleveland. You're everywhere.
Well, you know what? I love what I do. And I'll tell you what, this is a really exciting time because, a couple of months ago, the Indians weren't doing too well,
Right.
and now they are going to. I think I'll be surprised if they don't catch the Twins.
I agree with that, no question
And
about
so
it.
now that's going to be happening, and training camp all at the same time.
You can follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/more-sports-and-les-levine with new content posted each and every day. And of course, we have the voicemail of Truth and Reason, which we had earlier with Ron checking in with his ideas, and you can do that anytime. Leave a message. And remember, we do the show live from 6 to 7 p.m., that, of course, Eastern Time, but you can call anytime to leave a message, 216-200-6650. Jeff Schudel and I return in a moment. Mike Placetta from Nature Stone is going to join us. We'll find out what Mike is thinking. More Sports and Les Levine continues in a moment exclusively on cleveland.com.
The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education program has been recognizing role model students and teachers since 2007. To nominate a deserving teacher or student, go to ohiolottery.com. In the About section, find Supporting Education. There, you can nominate students in kindergarten through 12th grade as academic all-stars. Teachers can be honored as the Teacher of the Month. Every school that participates is eligible for the School of the Year. The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education, where stars shine.
All right, let's take a look at the birthdays for today, July 23rd. Pee Wee Reese, shortstop for the Dodgers, born 1918. Don Drysdale, the great Dodger pitcher. 1947, Jeff, we have autobiography. He was born in this state. I read a book about him. Gary Payton, Nomar Garciaparra, and Terry Glenn, seen on the left, from Ohio State. 216-575-0403 is the number to call. Before we get into Mike Placetta, let me just read this from Nick Green. Hi, Les. Great show. Just learned of you 2 months and almost always watch your show 2 hours later. Well, time for a How Come Quickie before we do that.
That's a good one.
When the Sultan of Swat was traded to the Boston Braves, the Yankees were ruthless, but when the Mick retired, they were dismantled. It's one of my favorites.
That's a good one.
You know what happened here? We have an emergency here. I lost my rundown.
Uh-oh.
So that's no hit, no runs, no hits, 1 error so far on Les.
We're gonna have to. That's not it on the left there, is it? No.
I think we'll be okay.
We've done it enough.
Anyway, Nick says, great show. I just learned of it the last 2 months. One thing that bugs me is constantly talking about the Indians needing to beat the cupcake teams, as Dennis Maniloff says, and whoever the guest is when the topic comes up. The Orioles, for example, have had 21 three-game series. They've been swept only 5 times, and they're a very bad team. Well, he says, I can't believe I never heard that on your show before recently, because I agree with Maniloff and anybody else who says beat the heck out of those guys.
Right.
Well, who cares who you beat?
And you know what? And the Minnesota Twins have the same schedule. They obviously don't play them. They play them at different times, and they just had trouble with the A's this past weekend. The Indians
they beat the Yankees last night.
Right, and the Indians caught the A's earlier in the season when Oakland wasn't playing as well as it is now.
Right.
So, yeah, I agree. You don't have to apologize for the teams you play. And
no, you know what? When the season's over, they're gonna say, all right, you won X amount of games, and you report to you have a home series against so and so.
Right.
That's how that.
I mean, they're playing the Tigers 19 times, the Royals, and the White
and you
Sox.
still have Minnesota with 13 more games together.
Right, and so those games in August, they have them all in August and September.
Right. All right, let's check in. We got Mike Masetta standing by from Nature Stone. Wow, it's Nature Stone. Wow, it's Mike. Hello, Mike.
Hello, Les. How you doing tonight?
Sorry, we had to make a double switch with the National League last night and move you to tonight.
Huh.
I understand. Yeah, that was a classic Joe Torre move when he coached the St. Louis Cardinals, right?
Exactly. All right. Tell me how you feel about the fact that the Indians win games against the bad teams. Do you have to apologize for that, or are you supposed to beat them by more?
No, that's the philosophy. You're supposed to win every series against the teams that are below 500,
right?
And you're supposed to split every series with the teams that are at 500. And if you do the at or above 500, and if you do that, then you'll make the playoffs. That's the rule of thumb in baseball. You win 2 out of 3 from the teams that you're better than, and you go 500 against the teams that you're even with or are better than you.
Yeah.
And then you win 90-some games and you make the playoffs.
Yeah, Mike Masetta with us. Mike, Jeff-Schudel is with us, covers the Browns, the Indians, and everybody else. And do you think the Indians are going to make a move? And if they do, is it a plus move or a minus move?
Well, I think that they'll make a move. I mean, they're sitting 3 games back, and they got the 4th best record in the American League right now. So, I think that they'll definitely make a move. They got to get better. I mean, plus or minus. If you're referring to, are they going to subtract players and just go after a bunch of minor league guys? I don't think that that's the case. I think that if they subtract somebody from their pitching staff, like everybody anticipates they are, they're going to add something to their batting order.
Hey, I'll tell you what I feel comfortable about, and Jeff mentioned it before. You've got Trevor-Bauer tonight. I'm almost ready to say this is guaranteed win night. I wouldn't say that about too many pitchers on this team right now.
Bauer has had a good season. He's been doing very well. He's been very susceptible to the home run ball, though, all year. And that's a little bit unusual for him. He's kind of been giving up runs, 3-4 runs early in games, and if the Indians' offense doesn't get going, that could be tough for them. But I like my chances with pretty much all their pitchers when their starters are on the mound. But Bauer is definitely having a good year.
Lip readers are having a field day with when Bauer gives up a home run.
And he gave up 9 home runs all last year.
Right.
And this year he's given up 5 to Max Kepler. I just don't want them
alone. Yeah.
How funny is that?
Yeah. And it's like I refuse to. I'm going to keep pitching this guy until.
I'm going to walk him every time he comes up.
I just don't want them to trade Bauer to a team the Indians might face.
Yeah,
in
the Yankees or Houston.
Yeah, you cannot trade him to either of those teams. You can't, because if the Indians make the playoffs, they're likely going to face one of those. They can face them both. And, and you do not want – you think Trevor Bauer would be a little excited?
I'm not sure I would trade Brad Hand either.
No. I mean, if you think you're going to be in that playoff, in the playoffs, you cannot trade your closer. You can't do that.
Yeah.
I mean, no, that would be a real mistake.
Mike, if you trade anybody, what are you looking for in return? I hope it's just not prospects. It's got to be somebody who can help you in the next 2 months, I would guess.
No, they need a right-handed hitting outfielder that can bat, consistently in the number, 4 or 5 hole in the order. That's what they need. What age I'm not really concerned with. They just that's what they need. But I agree. I wouldn't look to make the trade with the Yankees or somebody that's going to Houston or someone like that. But there's plenty of National League teams that would the Braves would take a trade right now, and you could probably grab somebody. I'm sure the Dodgers would. They need to upgrade their starting pitching staff, and they've got a ton of professional outfielders that you can grab and put into those spots. And you've got Milwaukee too. Milwaukee's got some good guys, and San Diego. So there's several teams that they could go with and make the trade in the National League. And I think that would be the best move that they can make.
All right, Mike, we're getting ready. The Browns showing up, checking into the camp tomorrow night, or by tomorrow, and then they start the training camp on Thursday. You're looking for, and Odell Beckham made an impression with everybody, said all the right things today. But anything that concerns you as we get set to open up this 2019 football season?
Well, you know, just the obvious stuff. You know, they talk about the offensive line and, you know, how they're going to mesh together, and you know, that's certainly a concern. You know, they talk about the linebacking core, and while athletic, they're not strong tacklers. Are they going to become stronger tacklers in the running game? Is the investment that they made in their defensive line going to help with that? You know, so just those types of things. But until you actually see them play and actually see what they have and what Kitchens does with the talent, how he puts it out there, you really don't know.
Yeah.
You know, you really don't know. So, you know, I'm just anxious to watch them get going. I can tell you this. I am not afraid of their receiving core being bad. I mean, I actually think that their tight end, Njoku and Callaway, are going to benefit immensely from those two guys, and they may even have bigger seasons than those two guys have. Yeah. You know, Landry and Beckham. So
could very well be.
That's one area that I think that they'll be just fine at.
Let me just ask Jeff one more question, and that is, just talk about two rookie linebackers. Is it possible they'll start two rookies?
No, I don't think so. I doubt that. They'll start Joe Schobert inside. Kirksey will get one spot. And then the other one could be up for grabs, but I do not see them starting.
Yeah, they're talking about Wilson and Taki.
Right. Taki, we'll see. I just don't see.
Hey, Mike, is Taki from Walla Walla, Washington?
That's awesome. Great name, guys. Great name. That's a football name right there.
Yeah,
I can't wait to see that on the back of the jersey.
All right, we got to go. Thanks for making that move to come on tonight, and we'll talk to you soon.
Hey, my pleasure, guys. Take care.
Hey, Mike. Wow, it's Nature Stone.
Wow, it's Nature Stone.
There you go. 216-575-0403. Thanks to Mike Becerra. Great company, great guy, very knowledgeable guy. You can catch the excitement of live harness racing at Northfield Park every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday with the post time at 6 p.m., but they're open at noon for simulcast action all over the world. And the Summit County Fair coming on Friday, July 26th. Live racing, post time 6 p.m. The Bud Light Patio Party goes on. At that point, they've got the handicapping contest and the prize wheel from 7 to 8 p.m. and Plinko from 8:30 until 9:30. All at Northfield Park, where it's free admission, free parking every day. We mentioned Odell Beckham. Jeff-Schudel had a chance to talk to him and more when we get back. More Sports and Les-levine continues on cleveland.com.
No other company or product can match the features, benefits, and warranty of an authentic Nature Stone floor.
We had a horrible storm that flooded our basement.
We had to take out that nasty moldy carpet.
And we never want to have to go through that again. That's when we called Nature Stone.
And with Russell's Promise, our true unconditional warranty, you will never have to replace your basement flooring again. Get Nature Stone installed by the end of July and save up to 50%. Schedule your free cost estimate easily online today at naturestone.com. It's not just a floor, wow, it's Nature Stone.
There are tastes we remember. Every smell brings the happiness of times gone by. Experience this every time you walk into Gallucci's Italian Foods. Whether you need lunch on the go, a catered party, or that perfect blend of wine, meats, and cheeses, Gallucci's has exactly what you're looking for. Straight from Mama's Kitchen for old world traditions or original experiences. From the tastes you remember to new flavors you'll never forget. Gallucci's is a tasty branch of your family tree.
When it comes to selling you a mattress, most retailers are handing you a long line of extra steps that drive up costs and create confusion. At the Original Mattress Factory, we simplify the mattress shopping experience by building mattresses and box springs in our own local factories and selling them direct to you. It's short, sweet, and simply makes sense. So experience more than just the mattress store. Experience an original, the Original Mattress Factory.
You know, expectations are just expectations, but I'm excited to be a part of the excitement. You know, I've really, like I said, I've watched from afar, kind of the struggles, whether they didn't win a game that one year and then they won a game and now they went from 7-9. I feel like it's just been on the come up. It's just that time, and I just want to be able to give absolutely everything I have and see where we land with that. Starting with training camp, to then preseason, to then the first game of the season. Try not to look too far ahead. I feel like in the past I've always come in and been like, I want to win Super Bowls. Obviously that's the goal. It's the only reason you do this. But really just want to slow it down this time, take it day by day, week by week, and just see where we end up.
Hey, speaking of camp, what's the main thing you want to accomplish in this first camp with your new team?
Definitely want to. I got to learn everybody. It's just always been something that I've had relationship with all. When we start training camp, there's 90 or 100 of us. I build a relationship with anybody who's around. I'm going to say what's up to anybody who's in the locker room. So my first camp, I really just want to be able to come out, set the groundwork, have a great, hard camp. We're all going to have our battles and stuff like that, but to really get prepared for this season, because I know that it's going to be a grind. And it's gonna be a journey.
Every one of your national interviews touches on the Giants trade.
Yeah.
It's natural because you haven't played a season yet.
Yeah.
Is there a time you could leave that behind, do you think?
I hope so. I hope that the only time that I talk about it is when I get asked about it. So it's hard. It's like I don't even know the word for it. It's like a double-edged sword. I can't really. I don't want to talk about it, but if I get asked about it, I feel like I have to answer the question. So I'm really ready to put it all behind me. I think everybody's moved on. I've moved on. They've moved on. It's just time. This is where I'm at. I'm at Cleveland Browns now. Yeah.
All right, just an observation. Things are going to change throughout the season, but right now he doesn't look or sound like the guy that everybody said was trouble. What am I missing?
Well, you're right about that, Les, and you should have seen him with these kids out here today. Man, they just gravitated to him. And not just because he's a football star. He's got this disarming smile. And the kids really love him. So
and they haven't seen him play yet.
Right. So that was pretty cool.
How old were the kids?
From 1st through 8th grade.
Okay, and there was over 600 or so?
Yeah.
That was the estimation?
And I'll tell you what, I'm going to do a commercial for pro camps.
Go ahead.
They really know how to put these things on. And they do it all over the world and for different sports and all over the country for the NFL guys.
Right.
And the same group put on Corey Kluber camp out in Menor last month. And so they really do an excellent job.
All right, so 2 questions. Number one, where does he put the blonde hair when he goes and speaks in front of people?
Yeah, I think
in his pocket.
I think the barber lopped it off.
The other thing is he going to handle it okay as long as the Browns are winning? If he's not the center of attention every game, is he going to be able to handle it?
We're going to find out. And
that's a big question.
That is the big question. I mean, players, they want that ball because that's going to help them in their next contract. I think he still has 5 years on his deal.
Right.
But when that expires, his agent's not going to say, well, my guy only caught 40 passes a year, but the Browns won 2 Super Bowls. That's not going to get him money on his next contract.
I wouldn't think so. 216-575-0403. Speaking of money and contracts, Jeff, I'm the vice president of the Greater Cleveland Sports Hall of Fame. It's one of my lucrative jobs that I have. Big pay for that.
Wow.
We've got the induction coming up in September. Look at the names here. There you see Otis Chapman, a great racquetball player. John Malloy from hockey. Tony Miller, remember him from St. Joe's, right?
Right.
And, of course, played 2 sports. Tom Lucci, look at that name. Urban Meyer from football and Rob Moss in golf. Now, people will say, well, how does Urban Meyer qualify? And the Greater Cleveland Sports Hall of Fame includes 5 county area, including Ashtabula County, and that's where he grew up. We couldn't yank him away from Columbus on Wednesdays or Thursday nights the last 7 or 8 years.
Yeah.
But he's available now.
Well, good. And I'm not familiar with all those names, but and I did not know all of them they play. But what's talking about Halls of Fame? The College Football Hall of Fame. I think you have
at
to be
Notre
out,
Dame.
Pardon?
Notre Dame?
Yeah. But I think you have to be out like 20 years or something before. Yeah. I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah. Anyway, if you're interested in tickets, if you know any of these people or you just want to support the group, 216-241-1919 is the number, or admin at cleveland-sports-hall.com is the place to go. And we'd like to see you there. I'd like to put 500-600 people out there. That would be terrific.
And Leonard Haven's a great place to have.
Leonard Haven's a perfect place. We've been doing it for
event like that.
25 years or so. 216-575-04. No, I don't get a commission on the sales. Come on. You think I could?
Hey.
You got to do what you can do.
That's right. Greens fees are going up, so yeah.
Yeah, right. 216. I used to, when I was younger, getting in the business, I wanted to speak at every place, the Rotary Club, the Elks Club. Is there still an Elks Club? I don't even know.
I believe there is.
The schools, the PTAs, the whole thing.
And then you found out it was just a meal?
Well, yeah, but I didn't care about it because I want to learn how to speak in front of people for this silly job that I have here. And so I didn't care about getting money because I figured it would help me in later life. Well, you know what, guys? It's later life. It's time to pay up.
I like doing that too, though. I like speaking in front of the groups.
Right. Most times it's fun. People are terrific.
Right.
216-575-0403. When we come back, well, look, I don't know if Jeff is there almost every day. Did you know the Browns have a secret weapon?
I did not know that.
We will divulge that and more when we get back. More Sports and Les-levine continues exclusively on cleveland.com.
It takes attention to detail. With your local Bryant dealer, you're getting more than just a technician. You're getting someone who pays attention to your needs and the little things that make a big difference. It takes a dealer you can rely on. And to keep your family cool this summer,
let me show you how this works.
It takes Bryant.
Bryant. Whatever it takes.
And to keep your family comfortable, it takes Smiley One Heating and Cooling. Find them at 440-449-HEAT.
This day in sports history, July 23, 2000, at the age of 24, Tiger Woods became the youngest to complete a career Grand Slam when he won the British Open. Bless you, that's 19 years ago.
Excuse me.
Stop it.
Did you watch any of the British Open?
Not much of it. It was a blowout.
Yeah, that's not much fun. But boy, I like to play that course.
That did look like fun, no question about that. Bleacher Report put out its later power ratings. This is one main reason why I want the season to start, so we don't have to go through these power ratings and all that stuff. Let's take a look at the Bleacher Report's latest power rankings. I don't see the Browns in the first five, Jeff. I see New Orleans, New England, Kansas City, and the Rams and Chargers. That's three AFC teams right there. Then we go 6 to 10. I don't see the Browns here either. But I see the Colts and Pittsburgh and two, so that's 5 better than the Browns right now. Let's see if there they are, number 14.
Wow.
The Ravens are ahead of them. Here, the Texans are ahead of them. So 14th, and it's what is that, number 7 as far as the AFC is concerned?
And number 3 in the AFC North, right?
Yes, 3 in the AFC North.
Steelers and Ravens ahead of them. So.
Right. Well, they got them ahead of Cincinnati anyway.
Well, yeah, and. That's interesting. The Seattle Seahawks, they seem to have some defensive woes.
Yeah, and they got a pretty good quarterback also.
Yes, they have. That makes
the
up for
Bleacher
a lot.
Report says they say every team has a secret weapon. Let's find out who the Browns' secret weapon is. Rashad Higgins. You haven't heard much of him. right? Entering his fourth season with the Browns, 39 receptions last year, 72 receptions for the career. If he has a big year, that everybody's going to have a big year.
Yeah, you have to divide that football up in a lot of little pieces,
Right.
aren't you? Because you have Landry, Beckham, Njoku, Callaway, Higgins,
And only one football.
and one football.
All right, let's take a look at other notables on the list here from the Bleacher Report. These are either former Browns or former Buckeyes. Jabril Peppers, they've rated. I don't know how you're a secret weapon when you trade Odell Beckham for him.
No, that's yes, and Rashard Perriman is
Yeah.
a secret weapon for the.
Well, he's Tampa Bay now.
Yeah.
And Denver Broncos have Jake Hireman from Ohio State. So there you have it. Let's
Jabril
get
Peppers,
this.
That's an odd.
That's an unusual
pick.
call.
I mean, you have a safety as a secret weapon. I don't know.
Well,
about
that's true. That's true. What did you think of him? First of all, we were told he was going to be a great return man. He caught the ball pretty well. I don't think he had any muffs or fumbles, but it was normal for him to have a 3-yard return.
Or a fair catch, right?
Or a fair catch.
When the nearest defender was from here to the street,
Right.
and
Well, he was so used to playing 40 yards back under Greg Williams, he didn't know what to do.
yeah, and so I mean, he certainly is not irreplaceable. And we've mentioned this before. What I really like about that Beckham trade is it's all paid for, right? You don't owe him any draft picks in the future,
Right.
And they'll replace Jabril Peppers. So you gave a pick 17 and 95, and the guy you could replace for a guy who could lead the league in receptions this year.
I'll tell you who leads every league they're in, Sokolowski's University, and they were the big hit of the Taste of Tremont over the weekend. And they're a big hit every day, Monday through Friday, for lunch 11 to 3, then dinner on Friday and Saturday nights. And people say, well, you know what, older people go there. Well, yeah, older people go, but you know what, younger people go there too. It's eclectic. What does eclectic mean? Any idea?
It means it's a good place to eat.
Yeah, that too. Sokolowski's University, and there's nothing better. They're Cleveland's oldest owned and operated family restaurant, located in Tremont. You got the best view of downtown Cleveland. If we could Google that out, you'd see the back where the bar area is in, and you'll see the best view of downtown Cleveland anywhere in this city. Sokolowski's University. And when we get back, we talked about the Indians. You think they're looking for a reliever? We've got one possibility, and frankly, Jeff, I don't like it. Jeff-Schudel is with us. Back in a moment. More Sports and Les-levine continues exclusively on cleveland.com.
No other company or product can match the features, benefits, and warranty of an authentic Nature Stone floor.
I had an epoxy-based sand paint on my floor that deteriorated, and that's why I called Nature Stone.
Why paint? It's expensive, it's ugly, and it doesn't last. Nature Stone is always affordable. It's beautiful, and with Russell's Promise, our true unconditional warranty, you will never have to replace your garage floor again. Get Nature Stone installed by the end of July and save up to 50%. It's not just a floor. Wow, it's Nature Stone.
When it comes to selling you a mattress, most retailers are handing you a line. A long line of extra steps that drive up costs and create confusion. At the Original Mattress Factory, we simplify the mattress shopping experience by building mattresses and box springs in our own local factories and selling them direct to you. It's short, sweet, and simply makes sense. So experience more than just the mattress store. Experience an original, the Original Mattress Factory.
Let's take a look at this date in Les-levine history, July 23rd, 1957. Jeff Les found some baseball cards in his attic, put some in the spokes of his bicycle so he could trade cards with his buddies, but he had some duplicates, so he just gave them away. He didn't have room for those 2 extra Mickey Mantle rookie cards.
You could retire if you had those in mint condition.
Yeah, I could retire if I don't buy anything.
You don't have to eat anymore?
If I stop eating, 216-575-0403 is the number. The Indians might be, you think they're looking for a right-handed power hitter. Most people would think that. Maybe, I don't know that they're looking for a starter, but they may be looking for relief help. And here's one who might be available. It's mychal-givens of the Baltimore Orioles, but there's something I don't like in there, Jeff. Near the bottom, 5 blown saves. Of course, if you're even if you're the Orioles, you have a lead and a save situation, you should be able to do that.
Right. And it's not they don't have that many opportunities.
That's also true.
Right.
The team had six saves for the year. Yeah.
Yeah. So
I don't know. I wouldn't touch the bullpen.
No. I mean, I like their setup. I think Adam Simber is kind of like an under the radar quality pitcher. He's a good guy too.
Hey, by the way, the young man who got hit by the Lindor line drive yesterday, apparently he's been released from the hospital.
Yeah, that's
apparently
good
all
news.
is, knock on wood, everything is okay.
Well, do you think
how is there even a question about putting netting up?
I don't know. I mean, I mentioned this to someone else. When they put the netting behind hockey goals, I thought, oh man, that's just going to ruin everything. But you know what? You don't even know it's
I got to tell you something. I've sat in the good seats and bad seats, but I've sat in the good seats. You don't even notice it.
Right, exactly right. You don't even know that netting's there, and it doesn't really disrupt the game because if a puck hit that net, then it comes back. They blow the whistle, and if you're gonna, I've been at some captains games in Lake County Captains.
Right. That's close.
And I saw a guy got whacked right in the forehead.
The only question should be, can you get it up tomorrow or Thursday?
Yeah,
that's the only question.
Right, and. It's going to diminish some foul balls, but the ones that would come over the net and you could catch.
Those you can catch.
And then that's not going to hurt you.
You know who wishes they did it 25 years ago? Steve Bartman. The Cubs.
Right.
If they had the netting, nobody ever hears of Steve Bartman.
Right,
it's just a foul ball.
Yeah, and the Cubs might have won the World Series earlier. But I agree that they should put that. I'll be surprised if by next season it doesn't go foul pole to foul pole.
Next season, how about next Monday? Let's check out the Facebook question of the day, and that is, what would you like to see the Indians do at the trade deadline? A lot of responses today. Andy Mee says, add a stable cleanup hitter like Nick Castellanos, as long as Detroit isn't asking for top-notch prospects in return. With the Indians' infield set and Castellano being a liability in the outfield, Francona could stick him at the DH and not have to platoon Kipnis and Luplow in the 4 spot. Rick May says trade Trevor-Bauer for a power-hitting outfielder and a middle reliever. Dan Macy says, I'd like to see Miguel Cabrera come here as a veteran DH presence since Detroit is rebuilding. Would you want Cabrera here?
He's
First of all, he gets 108,000 billions a year.
And you get that contract. So if the Indians are cutting payroll, I don't see.
He also looks lost out there, and to me, he was the best for about a 5-year span. Was maybe the best hitter in baseball.
Maybe he'd get a little. Maybe find the swing again if he's in a pennant race.
That's a good point. Chris DiGennaro says Yasiel Puig and Scooter Gennett from the Reds. Lawrence Butler says they could use an outfielder that can hit and hit for power. San Diego has several candidates, and they were hot after Bauer earlier in the year. Brandon Buckley says trade Trevor-Bauer to the Yankees for one of their sluggers. You mentioned before you don't want to do it, and I don't either.
Unless you don't get Aaron Judge for him, then I say no.
How about Frazier? Clint Frazier? Would you want him?
I would. Nothing against Clint Frazier, but I do not want. The Yankees are already burying everybody.
Let me tell you something.
Better.
You said no offense against the Yankees. When anybody says no offense against anybody, the next thing out of their mouths is something that's offensive.
Yeah, well, I meant no offense against Clint Frazier since he was drafted by the Indians and he's a good guy. So when I talked to him for a story earlier this year.
The question is, what should the Indians do? And Angelo Costanzo says nothing. He apparently likes it the way it is.
I think that's a real possibility.
That nothing happens?
But again, we have to remember that they are beating up on some really bad teams. They're not going to. They just swept the Tigers. I think they're 12-1 against Detroit now.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
I don't care how bad they are. No,
But-
not everybody else is 12-1.
Right, but they're probably not going to face the Tigers in the playoffs, right?
Probably not. Let's go to Dick, who's in Dayton. Dick, good evening.
Dick
Go
in
ahead.
Dayton.
Hey, Les, how are you? Hi, Jeff. How are you?
Dick, we haven't heard from you in a while.
Yeah, I've been a little bit, over at the store. We've had this darn heat wave, and I've had to run other stores, but it's kind of nice where I work. We got 6 people from Cleveland. All we talk about is Cleveland sports. How about that?
Well, I'll tell you what. I think you cheated on me. I heard you on another show recently.
Oh, that's me. I like you guys, too.
Okay.
You know.
We'll try to win you over.
Well, hey, I just wanted to tell you, I like this run, Les. I like this run for the Indians. I really think they can, I think they're going to go to the wild card with what they got.
Why the wild
And my
card? Why
other
not? Why
point
not the
is,
division?
I'm looking forward to the exhibition in the Browns season because I love Jimmy Donovan, Doug Deacon, and Tony. They always, they paint a masterpiece picture like past like Gibb and Nev and Casey.
Hold on one second, Dick.
They're my favorites.
There's a guy who used to be a media reporter, Richard Deitch, who now is a talk show host in Toronto, and he did some research, Jeff, that there's no other tandem like Deacon and Donovan who have announced as many losing games as they have in the history of the NFL. And if you go to, he's a sports talk host in Toronto. Look it up, check out the website, and he has a great story about Jim Donovan and Doug Deacon.
Wow.
Well, you know who my favorite was, Les? You probably remember. Did you like Nev Chandler?
Yeah, I love Nev Chandler and I love Gibbs Shanley.
Oh, I did too, Gibb Shanley. You know who else, when I was younger, down here, Affiliate carried the games. I went to Centerville. I'd watch them with Ken Coleman and Warren Lahr, and Gibb and Jim Grainer would be on the
Warren
air.
Lahr was a great defensive back, and he did a great job on those television analysis.
I think that was before the network TV took over.
It was. You could name your own guys.
Hey,
Cleveland
listen,
had
if I'm
Frank
ever up
Lieber
there,
for a
I'm
while.
gonna stop by and see you, buddy.
Yeah. All right, Dick, we got to go. Thank you so much, as always, for the call.
Oh, you're welcome.
Good to talk to you. So
Bye-bye.
Gibb Shanley, in his first game, is at the Rubber Bowl, an exhibition game against the Steelers. You know this story?
No.
And it's at the Rubber Bowl, and the Browns weren't doing well, and it's halftime, and Gibbs says, and the Browns going to their into their locker room. It's the first time they've crossed midfield today. And so on the radio station replayed the game after, and Art Modell's driving back from Akron, and he called Gibb into his office the very next day, and they had a little chat about that.
That I could see.
You could
that
picture
coming.
both of those guys,
yeah,
right?
I could picture that, and I could see Gibb not apologizing.
Well, maybe then. He was his first year. He might have done that.
Oh,
he was terrific, though.
Yeah, he really
terrific.
was. And I got a story for you. In 1965, I think it was, after the championship year, the Browns put out an album, a record.
Yeah,
they have CDs.
I have it. It's
one at a time.
One at a time.
And
with Jim Grainer calling
Jim Grainer, right?
He was terrific.
He was, and I actually won that album in a ping pong game with a kid I went to school with,
Right.
And he was mad that I never gave it back to him. But it's like I won it fair and square. So yeah,
they did. They sold that record. I have a tape of the '64 championship game with Gibb doing it, and he was tremendous.
Yeah, he really, yeah.
And you know what? What I was thinking, because he's the guy I grew up with, maybe I'm thinking when he passed away, or when I knew he was going to, I thought he was phenomenal, and I pulled out that cassette just to see if he was as good as I thought he was, because I hadn't heard it in a while.
Yeah.
And you know what?
He was
better than I thought he was.
I could believe that. I mean, I loved, because that was a lot different time. They just, we didn't have all these games on TV.
No.
And you know what? I mean, there's a lot of sports I like. I mean, football is a real TV sport.
Well, baseball is a great radio sport.
Right. Yeah.
Let's take a break. We'll come on back one more time. We'll take a look at some How Come Quickies and we'll wind things up with Jeff-Schudel. When we get back, More Sports and Les-Levine continues exclusively on cleveland.com. Northfield Park is your home for live and simulcast racing. And you can get there with the live events on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday with a post time of 6 p.m. Open early every day for simulcast action. Weekly Sunday contest, $500 each week, cash. The Bud Light patio parties continue through September. This Friday night, the 26th, it's Summit County Fair. Live racing with a post time of 6 p.m. and the Bud Light patio party continues. Prize wheel at 7 to 8 and Plinko 8:30 to 9:30. All at Northfield Park, where it's no admission, free admission, free parking every day at Northfield Park. We'll come back in a moment. More Sports and Les-Levine exclusively on cleveland.com.
No other company or product can match the features, benefits, and warranty of an authentic Nature Stone floor.
We had a horrible storm that flooded our basement,
We had to take out that nasty moldy carpet.
and we never want to have to go through that again. That's when we called Nature Stone.
And with Russell's Promise, our true unconditional warranty, you will never have to replace your basement flooring again. Get Nature Stone installed by the end of July and save up to 50%. Schedule your free cost estimate easily online today at naturestone.com. It's not just a floor, wow, it's Nature Stone.
There are tastes we remember. Every smell brings the happiness of times gone by. Experience this every time you walk into Gallucci's Italian Foods. Whether you need lunch on the go, a catered party, or that perfect blend of wine, meats, and cheeses, Gallucci's has exactly what you're looking for. Straight from Mama's Kitchen for old world traditions or original experiences. From the tastes you remember to new flavors you'll never forget. Gallucci's is a tasty branch of your family tree.
The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education program has been recognizing role model students and teachers since 2007. To nominate a deserving teacher or student, go to ohiolottery.com. In the About section, find Supporting Education. There, you can nominate students in kindergarten through 12th grade as academic all-stars. Teachers can be honored as the Teacher of the Month. Every school that participates is eligible for the School of the Year. The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education, where stars shine.
Tomorrow night, Bud Shaw from WKYC.com joins us. You see us live from 6 until 7 p.m. That's Eastern Time. And, of course, you can archive it all day long. We had an email from somebody who watches it 2 hours later, which we appreciate very much. So Thursday night, it'll be Dennis Maniloff. But, of course, Jeff-Schudel is with us tonight. You can follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/more-sports-les-levine, with new content posted each and every day. All right, I got to fess up. I'm sort of fessing up. I or somebody lost a whole bunch of emails that got sent in. But I'm going to take the hit for it.
And there's no way to recover them?
Well, once the show starts, no. But John Patrick, who I called out yesterday, who usually sends us a daily double of How Come Quickies, and then he hit the wall a little bit, and he's conserving himself for the stretch drive and toward the playoff run, so he was only sending in one. And yesterday there was a malfunction, I think, on our computer. So he says, I don't know what happened yesterday. I sent one, but it obviously wasn't received. So here's the one I sent. How come I know how to press my wife's buttons, but I can't find the mute?
Oh, that's a good one.
It's terrible. No, good, but terrible. Here's one for today. How come juice boxes really pack a punch?
I like the one. I like the first one.
First one's a really good one.
Yeah.
I think yesterday I think his dog ate his quickie, so we don't have it.
Or his wife watches.
Well, yeah, that's his problem, not mine.
Yeah, really.
It's my problem to find out why we didn't get Mr. Gullables if he in fact did send one tonight. But it's not my fault to justify any quickie that we get. The opinions of How Come Quickies are not necessarily those of More Sports and Les-Levine or our guests like Jeff-Schudel. Brian Walsh in the back room, maybe it's his problem.
Okay, we'll blame him.
Okay, we'll blame him. No, he does a phenomenal job. There's no More Sports and Les-Levine without Brian Walsh, I can tell you that.
Yeah, he's a good, he sends me, hey, tweet the show.
Don't be too complimentary about it.
All right, we won't.
Suffice to say, he's terrific. All right. Got about 2 minutes. I'm going to see you. I assume you're going to be there at noon tomorrow. I will be there.
Mm-hmm.
Save me a seat or save me lunch or save me
It's going to
something.
be, I'll tell you what, they're going to expand that room which they can't
It's just for people who haven't been there, and I'm assuming that's most people. It normally seats, what would you say, 35?
Yeah, somewhere in there.
And how many do you expect tomorrow?
I'll bet there'll be 50 people, and then the camera people.
And it won't
will
be outside; it'll be indoors.
Yeah, it'll be indoors. And I'll tell you what, we're going to be standing around. They have that little microphone area, that interview area,
right
next to the trash. Out there on the practice field, and
you talking about the lunch now, or?
Yeah, I mean,
no, just kidding.
It's going to be 85 degrees, and we're all going to be huddled around.
Well, just keep in mind it's 85 degrees now, and when this regular season is over, it'll be 8 degrees.
Yeah, that is true. But it's going to be that's going to be neat because all the national media will be coming in, and a lot of times they come in just before the Hall of Fame to stop by and make an appearance. But we're going to see a lot of national guys, I think, throughout the summer.
Well, that's the way it's going to be. And the interesting thing is we've waited and waited and waited, and once we get to that point, then it becomes nonstop for 6 months.
Right. And I'm hoping, Les, that in December we could be sitting here and talking about
the bye week, the bye week in the postseason.
Right. And
getting ready to take on the Patriots.
Yep. And that would be a lot of fun after what we've endured here for.
What is there a game you're looking
years.
forward to more than any other? Maybe a Monday night game, Sunday night.
I'm really eager for that Browns-Rams game at Progressive Field on Sunday night, September 22nd, I think it is. That is going to be I think it's really going to be a fun night because you have Baker-Mayfield going against Jared Goff, and they're not going to have to really promote that very heavily. I think it's going to be good in its own. We'll see. Hopefully, the Indians and the Browns could be, at least 1-1, hopefully 2-0.
Did I hear correctly that every single game seat is sold out?
I know for sure that every ticket of training camp is I mean, they were free, but they're all gone.
Right.
And I'd be surprised if there are many seats left for the
Do you suppose
season.
a lot of it is secondary market people who bought them up? I hope they figured out a way to not do that.
Yeah, I hope so too, Les, because these secondary guys have been buying tickets for a long time and then taking a bath on them. Right.
Yeah. Although they claim they can make it up now.
Yeah, they can make it up now. And
but here's what you won't see. You won't see the game against the Steelers with nothing but the terrible towels.
Right.
I hope.
We've seen those. I remember that 41-0 game they lost. I think Mangini was the coach in that one. It was 90% Pittsburgh people by the end of that game, and they were not content with 41-0.
All right, that'll do it for us. Great job by Jeff-Schudel as always, and we appreciate it. And he's going to be he is a busy man, but he's going to be busier starting tomorrow as the Browns front office welcomes this edition of the Cleveland Browns, and that's going to be the meeting is after practice, right?
Well, there's no practice
tomorrow. Well, there's no practice tomorrow, but the thing on Thursday.
Yes.
I assume now they're under freddie-kitchens. They're practicing in the morning.
Right. This is going to be good for us because they practice from 10 to noon, and then we get Freddie-Kitchens and then players. So I really like that setup. It's not a lot of fun when you go from 8 to noon, and then 4 hours later you get to talk to people.
Exactly.
So.
All right. Thanks to Jeff-Schudel. We'll see him soon. That's it for us. And Brian Walsh, who did such a great job back there. He didn't do anything wrong.
Nope.
In case the bosses are watching.
And you're the boss.
Oh,
so.
That's right. I forgot. All right, that'll do it for us. We'll see you tomorrow with Bud Shaw, D-Man, Dennis Maniloff on Thursday. Of all the shows I've ever done, this was the most recent.